Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips on Instagram with a Z. Pothead Picker on X. Flips and Giggles is the eBay store, and it's also the Facebook page. And so that's where I put out a lot of the, I put out pictures of all the stuff I find. Not all the stuff, but like a lot of the stuff I find. Stuff that I can... I think it's like the cooler of the stuff, like the bread and butter stuff, I'll post that sometimes from time to time. Honestly, I try to post more, but I'm really bad at being like, this is content worthy. You know what I mean? Occasionally I do, and I'm like, oh, that would have been good. Like a lot of times I do it after the fact. Like I'll find something or do something, and then after the fact, I'm like, oh, I should have taken a picture of that. But anyway, why is my thing is like crazy loud right now? I don't know why. Maybe my ears are working better. I don't know. Am I always this fucking loud? It felt like it was on. I had it like on the same setting. It was actually crazy loud for a minute. Okay, I think it's good now. Anyway, did I finish going through all the stuff? Yeah, eBay store, Flips and Giggles. Oh yeah, that's also the Whatnot name of the store too. Flips and Giggles is Whatnot. So. We have another Whatnot coming up tomorrow night. If this is going to be coming out Wednesday, so if you listen to this today, tomorrow night at 8:30, we've got another vintage clothing auction. We're going to be doing crew necks, jackets, and hoodies for the fall. So I think everything starts between $1 and $3. There's already a bunch of stuff in the shop there, so you can place pre-bids if you want to try and get in on the action without actually having to show up for the live. And I also I was trying to figure out why my, Facebook like fucking sucks. Like they don't tell you shit half the time. So my live streams kept getting booted from like Facebook and YouTube. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like I would start them and then it would just like, the first time I did one, I was able to like do the whole stream. So I don't know what the fuck that was. Like seriously, the whole fucking stream went through no issues, and then it hasn't worked since. I don't know what that crackling is. And sorry, I've got a cold coming. It's already started. My kid started school like last Monday, so it's, week out and it's already starting to creep through. So anyway, the fuck was I talking about? Was I talking about Whatnot? Huh. I don't know, because I just got fucking sidetracked. I'm sorry. I'm a little high, too. I don't usually smoke before the podcast anymore, but I decided to smoke a little before this podcast. And it's fine as long as I, I just had to move my phone and it distracted me. I think I was talking about Whatnot. But yeah, we've got a Whatnot coming up tomorrow night. Vintage clothing, I said that already. Yeah, we did 2 last week. My wife is actually really starting to like it. Hopefully I catch my thought that I was just talking about. I think I was just talking about Whatnot. But my wife's been big into it. She's joined a few Facebook groups that I was already a part of, and I'll randomly see her popping up on comments and stuff. So it's good because she shares the username every time. So she's been doing that hella. She really wants to get our followers up on that. I'm like, there's a whole rest of the business that you could help do that stuff for, right? But now she's just she's all about the Whatnot stuff. I don't know what it is. She just loves it. So yeah, we did 2 last week, and they were all right. I mean, one was the stuffed animal. I'll tell you what, they were 10 times better than the one that I did with the Beanie Boos. The Beanie Boos was even worse than the Starbucks one, because at least with the Starbucks one, literally nobody came in. Not one single person entered the stream. So I didn't even have, it was 5 minutes of just not a single person entering. So I was like, all right, I can just shut this down. But the other one, it was people kept, 1 or 2 people would come in, And then as soon as they came in, they'd be gone. You're like, what the fuck are you even doing here? Like, what are you even doing here if you're like this Beanie Boos? Like, that's exactly what I said I have here. Why would you click on, you know what I mean? Like, why would you click on something that doesn't have, that has something that you didn't want? So that was like worse because I was like 20 minutes of just like, all right, let's just fucking try to. I'm like, I'm trying everything. I'm like asking for requests. My wife's asking for requests. So that was brutal. So Thursday night we did Stuffies. It's our second actual like Stuffies one, and we didn't have as many Stuffies as we had before. And the ones I had before were like ones I've curated that I've had just sitting forever. That like, or they were like part of like big bundles, and so I didn't really have a ton of money in that stuff either. Like the other ones I got for free from my buddy. He gave me like the Beanie Boos, and then he gave me like he just gave me a bunch of stuffed animals. I sorted them, and so. Oh, is this person now? Like a fucking hour late. Hold on. I'm sorry. Sorry. Hold on. Yeah, I have somebody who was supposed to come pick up some sports cards, and they were. I got these for free. They were like $40. Is what they were gonna come and get them for. So I got them like a couple days ago. I went to a yard sale, and at the end of the yard sale, they were like, everything is free, and well, I had gone there earlier. Sorry, I'm like all over the place. I got a million things going on right now, and I'm high, so that doesn't help. But I went to this yard sale earlier in the day, and they were like. They had like some purses. There was this one purse that they had that I looked up that looked like it was selling for around $120. And so I was like, I wasn't going to pay. They had $60 on it. So like at $60, that's like, that's so high that you're like, I don't even think I'm going to make an offer on this thing. So I didn't even make an offer. I bought like a couple of stuffed animals, which actually turned out to be pretty decent. Like not decent, but like $20, and I got them for each like a, 50 cents or something like that. And so I left and I went to this thing with my kids. This was like Sunday. So I went to this thing with my kids. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But we left that, and on the way back, I was like, I had a feeling I should just drive by that house, just be like, go back by it one more time. But I didn't. And so when I got home, they posted like on Facebook that they were having everything was outside free until a certain time, and they were right up the street from my house. So I like shot over there. This lady was loading up a bunch of stuff, but all the purses that I wanted were still there. And I actually grabbed a bunch of the purses, and they all ended up being like some decent money. So yeah, she went from like $60 on that purse to just free for take it. So and then what else did I get from there? I got the purses, and then they had a bunch of sports cards. So it wasn't anything crazy, but I'm like, I knew there was enough that like somebody would pay at least $20 to $40 for them. So yeah, I had $40 on them. This guy just messaged me. Let me see what he's saying. What's that? Hold on one second. Let me message this guy back. I'm gonna pause this so I'm not like trying to think about things, and then I'll update you. All right, I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, this dude's supposed to come pick up these cards, so it's like $40. I mean, obviously free to 40 in a couple days. So I love free piles. Free piles are my favorite because you can sell that shit for whatever you want because it's free, and then sometimes you get some like real winners. So anyway, yeah, all over the place right now. So yeah, the Whatnot streams from last week. So. Yeah, my wife's just been like super into it. The problem, it's hard because she's like trying to compare to other people, so I have to keep like kind of reeling her in. She's like, "Well, look at how many like followers this person has, and look at how," and I'm like, "It's awesome that we want to like try to aspire to that, but like they also have a shitload of inventory. Like this is like a part-time, like it's like a mom and pop compared to like, Target or Walmart. It's like I'm just like, I'm going out on the weekends and getting stuff. Like there's people that source daily and do daily whatnots. You know what I mean? I have barely enough energy to do one a week in a podcast. Like we gotta it's gonna be a slow grind, and then we'll have like times when it'll like pop off and like we'll start to get like a bunch of followers, and then it'll kind of plateau, and it's just gonna be like a fucking like just like anything. I'm kind of like used to that mentality for all my shit. So it's been like 5 or 6 years of just grind mode, as they fucking say, grinding like clips. Oh yeah. Oh, so fucking I remember what I was talking about. My clips kept getting cut off. Told you I would fucking remember. Fuck yeah, dude. My brain is fucking solid. So I already forgot. No, so I kept trying to go stream them. Like the first one streamed fine on Facebook, and what I found was like you get a bunch from Facebook because it's live, and it popped up with, because that was like the best stream that we did, I think, was the one that we did with Facebook that like actually went through and stayed on my Facebook page. But I figured out afterwards, that's the part that I never got to. What I figured out afterwards was that the music, my fucking dumbass, because I was playing music, so it's like copyrighted, so you can't, it like basically is like, oh, you can mute it or you can like remove it altogether. But it was like you can move it, and then like if you do one more thing, you're like, you're gonna get kicked off or whatever. So I just removed it. So essentially, like, I don't think I have a strike. It just basically removed the thing from there. So yeah, I was like, well, fuck, because it's kind of like, it's both helpful and also it's like I could see like why like some people probably don't like the music. I'm sure it doesn't sound like the greatest. Like I try to keep it like lower volume as just kind of like background, so if we're like talking or something like that, it's not like over going over our so you can actually hear us. So, but I think there's I've been looking into like copyright free music. So there's like copyright free playlists on Spotify. So I'll probably just throw one of those on and it'll just be like generic elevator music. So it's fine. It works for me. It kind of sucks because it's like I like to show off my skills as a DJ, but then at the same time, it's like it kind of limits our growth. So it's like, do I want to sell out and just fucking, pander to the copyright, whatever, and or no? Sorry. So yeah, so that was on Thursday. So we did so Thursday we ended up doing stuffies, and like I said, those were all free. So we ended up making like $150, I think, after all the fees. And like, I've been trying to do like minimal setup, and like, so like for the one I did for the crew necks and jackets, I took all the pictures yesterday, and I just like, I didn't even take the pictures. I just took the pictures and like the listing title from eBay, because it's stuff that's just been sitting on my eBay. So those ones I just basically like took them down, copied the title, and then like, basically switched the pictures from there over to there. So it was like, didn't take me all too long. But like normally what I would do is just like get all the pictures done, get it all uploaded right in one shot, so then it's just done for the next week, and then just kind of get ready for each show. It's different having to do a show every week. It's like fucking weird. Because like the day of, I'm just kind of like, fuck, I gotta do a show tonight. And I'm not like I don't get like, I get like nervous, not nervous, but like, it's just like the technology part is more like, is this actually gonna fucking work? Like, and then obviously like, oh, I hope that people come in. I'm not necessarily nervous about like having to be like do on camera and stuff. I actually enjoy that part. It's fun, like, cracking little jokes and shit, and like, but like, yeah, it's it's the technology part, and like the just like, oh, I hope like people actually are gonna come in. So that, yeah, we did that show Thursday, And then Friday we did a Halloween show, and I was like, this is gonna be like, I set it up cool, like did some cool promo pictures that I thought came out. I thought they came out look cool, but so like we did that one, and I thought that one, because everybody had been posting how their Halloween shows were doing well, and I thought ours would do well, but we didn't even have like a ton of people come in. Like we had a few people come in, and then like we probably made like $20 on that one. That one was like, but I knew that kind of going in. I had said that, like I was like, oh, it's just gonna be kind of laid back. I'm not gonna post anything ahead of time, and then we can just like, I should have, in hindsight, I probably should have posted stuff ahead of time. But I mean, part of like the whatnot thing is like having to do all the extra work. Like I'm like, I don't like when it takes me away from doing like the eBay stuff, because the eBay stuff like really does, like I get paid like, daily almost, if I'm like selling stuff daily. Hold on, I think my kid's calling me. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'll come right back. All right, I'm back. So yeah, it's just like eBay's obviously nice because you can get paid like daily if you're selling shit daily. With whatnot, like we'll do one show in a week, and it takes like almost a week to get paid. Which for people who like work a regular job, you're like, yeah, dipshit, that's how long it takes to get paid for work. But like when you're used to getting paid every day, you're like, kind of sucks when it doesn't happen, I know I used to fucking have that same fucking what's the word, caged mentality. Like, fuck, I'm just fucking around. Anyway, so Friday didn't go, I kind of had an idea that Friday wouldn't go well. Not that it wouldn't go well, but like that we wouldn't make a ton of money. I still kept a bunch of the Halloween stuff I had, so like I sold a handful of things. But like, yeah, we got a few followers. That was the point. Do some followers, like show people, like, I'm trying to build like actual followers. Like my wife, I was trying to explain to my wife. She's like, oh, we should like, be following. Like, there's people, if you follow them, then they'll follow you back. And I'm like, yeah, but that's like, I don't like to do that, because then you're like, your whole thing is based on the fact that like I followed you and you followed me. Then if you start posting like annoying shit and I unfollow you, then the chances that you're gonna unfollow me are like a lot higher. So I just try to get people who are just gonna like actually follow me. So and so I was trying to explain to her that, like, I'm like, I want actual people who are gonna like check out the stream, and not like just people who are trying to build up their whatnot, because it's a lot of like whoring yourself out. And I'm sorry for talking this much about whatnot. I know, I know some people are doing whatnot, some people don't know what it is, some people, so I apologize if like this is too much talking about it, but that's just like what we've been doing right now as well. And yeah, so it's a lot of like, asking other people, like, and I'm sure like it is, there are a lot of people who are like, genuinely wanting to build it up, and like, but it's like, it's hard. There's just like so much of like a social media aspect. So I'm happy that my wife is like stepping in. Cause like, the eBay stuff, like that stuff I'm like is easy. Like that's the stuff I do all day. But like, trying to promote that on top of like the whatnot, on top of the podcast, and like being back in school now. Being back in school is wild, because I'm doing 3 classes in one semester. And like, but 2 of them I'm not doing at the same time. 2 of them are half. So I'm doing like 1 full one and then like 2 halves of another 2 different classes. And one is communication. And so like I've had to do like on camera videos, and we had to do like a Zoom thing for Skype the other day. And that was like, they always feel so long. it was like a half hour, but it just felt like, it's like, oh my gosh. 'Cause it's like 6 to 6:30, and it was like right in that sweet spot when it's like, all right, usually I'm cooking dinner, but like if my wife's cooking dinner at that time, I'm like able to like sit and chill with the kids for like a little bit, because normally they're like off the walls. So like at 6, they're just kind of hanging out, chilling, and I can just kind of chill with them if I'm not making dinner. But like obviously, if I didn't have that Zoom call, I probably would have been making dinner. But yeah. Sorry, I didn't know where I was going with that. I was trying to think if I had anything else more to talk about Whatnot for right now. But anyway, yeah, I'll move on from that. So that was Thursday, Friday. I feel like there was a sale on Friday that I went to. Let me double check my my notes. I feel like there was one. Or maybe there wasn't. I don't know. It's kind of a weird weekend. So it's been the 12th. Yeah, I did go to one. Oh, that's right. So I got a phone call. So I was like, I've been getting a lot of phone calls lately, which has been nice. So this lady calls me, and she's like, hey, you came to my yard sale a couple years ago and bought some stuff. She's like, I just want to let you know that we have a yard sale this week on Friday. And I had already seen it and put it in my like list. But she's like, so I was like, oh, like thinking like, oh, she was going to see if I wanted to come early, and and she's like, I was like, is there like an early time that I could come? Or like, she's like, well, we're retired, so we're probably not going to be starting that much earlier, but like, probably no earlier than like 10 minutes before. So I get there, and they've already got like everything outside, and I remember them. I bought some good stuff from them, and hold on, I'm just going to make sure. So I bought some good stuff from them, and shit, where was I? I just got distracted. Somebody was messaging me. I'm sorry. It's a lot today. It's gonna be some detours in the stories. Fuck, what the fuck was I just talking about? God damn it, I can't even remember what I was just talking about. That's bad. I feel like I wouldn't remember even if I hadn't smoked, but probably not. I'm not even like that stoned right now. I'm just like, what the fuck was I just... I'm sure somebody's listening screaming at this thing being like, you were just talking about... Because I went from Whatnot to Friday. Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember now. Jesus Christ. So a lady calls me. I go over there, and I get there like a half hour early, and there's already a couple people there. I knew one of the guys there, and he's leaving empty-handed. I walked up. There was like nothing there. Like, I had gotten good stuff the last time, and there wasn't really anything there. And so I walk up, and I'm like, hey, thanks for calling me, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, yeah, this is like the stuff I thought you might be interested in. It was like nothing I really had any interest in, but I did remember the lady. It was like a couple years ago. And then she keeps telling me she's got like her house is just filled with like stuff. She's like, my husband has like these old video games, the comic books, like all types of stuff. None of it is out at the sale. I was like, oh, you bringing any of that stuff out? She's like, no, he doesn't want to sell it yet. And so I was like, all right, well, make sure you call me, like, whenever you sell all that stuff, like, I'll come buy all that stuff, And she had called me, like, after 2 years. It had been, like, at least 2 years. And so she's like, yeah, and we started talking about one of the guys that just left. And it just out of nowhere, I'm like, so this completely caught me off guard, but it was funny. She's like, yeah, that guy, I could tell he was a dealer because he kept trying to Jew me down on the price. And I'm like, and I was just like, oh shit. And like, I honestly, like, I thought it was funny because like old people, they just use fucking like different phrases and shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean that she's like anti-Semitic or whatever, but I didn't want to be like, oh, like clutch my pearls and shit. Cause I'm like, some of the shit that comes out of my mouth. So, but I was also ready to leave. So like, but I didn't want to be like immediately after that, be like, all right, I'm gonna go. You know what I mean? Like to make it like awkward because I still want her to call me about these video games and toys. So I had to be like, I had to like ask her another question. Like, so I just asked her like a random question about something, just to kind of like keep the conversation going. And then after that was done, I was like, all right, well, yeah, definitely call me about that other stuff, and I'll good luck with your yard sale. I'll see you later. I was like, holy shit, dude. It was a weekend of this was actually the same day now that I'm thinking about it. That was at Friday morning. So then I have to go to the dump because we've got like a bunch of shit. Like I had to pull out a cabinet for my mom, and it's finally clean out there. I love when like we do a dump run, it fucking clears everything out, and then something happens and we have to fucking break something down. Hold on, my kid's got poop. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back from changing poopy fucking pull-ups. Like that could be a nickname for myself. Poopy pull-ups, like Perry Phillips. Oh shit. Anyway, I had to go to the dump because I had some shit to fucking take back. And there's this guy there. He's been there before, and he's kind of an annoying fucking old cunty fuck. He's such a bitch, dude. I fucking hate this guy. He's got the hearing aids that just like stick out of his ear, and I just want to fucking pull him out of his ear and like throw him fucking in opposite directions and just fucking like oh, he's such a fucking annoying motherfucker. Like he was like talking shit about my because I take my mom's car and we live on a dirt road, so like I take my mom's car because she's got the dump sticker, and so he'll always be like, this was a second interaction I've had with him, but the first time he's like, oh, this car needs to be washed. I'm like, yeah, it's not my car. I just like got it washed not too long ago. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like wash it every fucking time I drive it. Like, it's not my car. She could easily drive through it, but fucking wash it. Like, whatever. That's beside the point. And so like that whole thing happened. So then I went in there. It was like Friday, and so first he like comes up. He just like walks up, and I'm almost done. I was like about to just get in my car. I was about to close my door and get in and be fucking done. And he like walks over, and the fuck did he start saying? Oh, I had my Revolution shirt on, like the band Revolution. And so I think he thought it said, he was like, oh, what does that say, Revolution? And so like, I think in his fucking mind, like I think he was like one of those super fucking liberal dudes, like super old white liberal dudes. So I think he was like hoping to like, find some kinfolk. And I was like, oh no, it's just like a reggae band. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, and he started talking about Woodstock. He's like, yeah, I lived near Woodstock, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's like, yeah, it wasn't what they tell you it was. It was just a bunch of entitled white guys from New York. Just, that's all it was. It was just like, I was like, okay. And at this point, I'm like interested to see where this fucking conversation's going. And I'm just like, all right, like, yeah, okay. And so then he's like, and this was like 2 days after the Charlie Kirk assassination. So he's like, yeah, they caught the guy who shot the guy, and shocking, he was a white guy. And I'm just like, what? I'm like looking, I'm like, buddy, you're an old white guy. Like, what you watch so much media that they've convinced you to like hate your own self. And this isn't like me being like, hey, like, trying to start a race war or anything like that. I just thought it was funny. I'm just like, he's like just going on and on about white people. He's like, yeah, shocking, it was a white guy. I was like, what the fuck? So then he's like talking about like, what, it's like anytime it's a somebody killing somebody, it's a white person. And I'm just like, I don't think that you're getting the same information that everybody else is. And like, obviously, people get different information from different things, and like But this dude was just like so fucking out of touch with reality. And so like, and I didn't want to engage him because I really had a ton of shit to do. I just had so much shit to do. And he had those fucking hearing aids in. And like I said, I've interacted with him before, and he's just like a fucking douche. And so I'm just like, so I was like, yeah, because he's trying to go on and on about it. And I was like, yeah, I was like, it might, might have something to do with like everybody's like pumped up on fucking pharmaceuticals, whatever. Which it's like, I honestly didn't want to even get into a conversation, but I figured out that would be like a thing that I could be like, all right, we can kind of like partially get behind that, right down the line. He kind of like made a face, and I was like, no, this is a white guy problem, not pharmaceuticals. He's like, I've been all over the world and da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, and now you're sitting in a fucking recycling center booth, like verbally raping people with your nonsense. So like, so what the fuck's your point? But it was just crazy. It was just like a very bizarre, like, both ends of the spectrum, like just kind of forcing their. So I mean, it's cool. I mean, I'm glad people are like expressing themselves so openly. I don't think it's not going to end well if you say it to the wrong person. It's going to like end in disagreement like a fuckload of time. Like that was like me being like as agreeable / disagreeable. And like that was just me coming from a place of like, if I have time, I'll sit and chit chat with you. And like, if you're being like cool about it, but this guy was just like so up his own ass. Like, and I've, then he said again, he's like, yeah, your car's dirty. He's like, what do you live down a dirt road? I go, yeah, actually we do. So it's kind of, we wash it, but it's kind of pointless. So, and he's like, oh. So I was glad that I got that last fucking dig in. He's just like, oh, you live on a dirt road? I'm like, yeah, actually we do. So it's just always dirty. Like, I don't know what the fuck you, like the back especially, like, so I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, it's just so bizarre. Like people just come up and they're just like, hey, here's my like radical political opinion that I want to talk to you about. And I don't really care what your political opinion is. And that's not even the thing. It's like, it's not even like, it's like he was just like clearly not even open to any other, like, he was just like, no, it's white people. It's white people killing white people. It's like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't even think it was of somebody on pharmaceuticals. You know what I mean? I don't fucking believe any of what they're saying about the whole thing. But I just thought it was funny that this fucking guy was just like, it's white people killing white people. It's like, okay, buddy. Like, it's a fucking bizarre, like, I don't know. It made me a little worried. I was like, what is happening? Like, are these people so brainwashed that they're just like repeating this fucking insane shit? Yeah, it's fucking wild. Well, yeah, fuck, I was just about to talk about something I forgot. I'm not going to forget it because I'm going to my notes because I'm like getting down to the last of it. What was it? It was like, I'm just trying to like count how much time I have to do because I am what's it called? I'm having to add up everything as I go because I suck at writing shit down. I was just thinking back about when I first started reselling. I used to because we lived in a different space, so like I didn't really have the space that I have now. Like when we were looking for a house, we were looking for something with space for me to start a business in. And like we had a bunch of, for our house, we needed like a space that I could do my business in. My mom wanted a pool and to be by the water, which like I fucking hate both of those things. It smells like shit when you live by the water. Like that's what they don't tell you is like, especially where we live because it's like marshy. It doesn't smell like shit. It smells like ocean, like nasty ocean. But like you'll just be smelling it through the windows sometimes. And you're like, is that in the house or is that? And you go outside and it just is fucking low tide. You're like, oh, this is fucking nasty. So yeah, we had like very specific requirements for where we were living, but like where we lived last time, it was like I just had like one room, and it was actually the room where I did my first like podcast out of. And then we converted that. It was like a bunch of trading cards in there because I was going to do trading cards. And then I got into reselling, and so like I would just put everything in that one room. And I remember when I first started, I would take pictures of everything, and then I would box everything up because I was like, oh, this stuff will just sell immediately. You know what I mean? And I'll just be able to like pull it off the shelf, and here we go. No, that's not what happened. I had like a whole room full of boxes. I had to break them all down before we moved. Oh, it was a fucking pain in the ass. It was so stupid and time consuming. I did that for like a little bit, and then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? It's so much easier now that I don't do that. But yeah, that was just like, imagine if I just had all my shit just boxed up, ready to go. I mean, it'd be nice. I'd be like, fuck yeah, I can just take it and like, you know, it'd be amazing if I had the space for it, but it takes up so much space doing it that way. So that's definitely not the way that we're gonna do it. I'm trying to think of what time I was at, because I did 16, then I did 10, was at 26, then I was at like 36. I think I just had like 24 more minutes to go. We'll do like 25 just to be safe. I'm already at 10, so sorry. I'm just trying to keep it on the hour when I can. But yeah, let me pull up. I had some things that I wanted to get to. Oh yeah, so this weekend was the Robinson Estate sale, which is like, it's like a big neighborhood sale. And yeah, so 2 years ago I was like, all right, this is my last year going. And this year I think for sure, between like the lack of stuff to find, like people just have not a ton of shit. Like some people have shit, like I know some people were finding stuff, but like most of the time my wife has to work, so I always have to bring my kids. This time I actually brought my kids, so I was like, all right, I'll bring both the kids, we'll make like a whole morning out of it. You know, we'll get a donut in the morning from the little vendor and go around, and like, you know, they can buy some stuff, and like, and I'm trying to not like be like, all right, I still need to find some stuff to sell and like worry about that, but like I was a little bit, but then I was like, fuck it, dude, we're having fun, the kids are having fun. But like the prices on everything, because I kept finding stuff that I was like, oh, this would be cool to sell, and I'm like, how much is this? And they're like, they name a ridiculously high price, and you're like, no, like, did this work last year? Did you sell anything for these prices last year? Like, I don't think you did. So I left a lot of shit that was like, you know, I was looking stuff up too, and like a lot of the stuff was over eBay prices. So I was just like, this is not worth it. Let's just kind of walk. I let the girls go out to a couple sales. But it was like a whole big ass neighborhood, and like they do it every year. I talked about it last week about going to it. But yeah, I definitely have more success driving around to other ones in the area. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do that next year. But again, my kids were like, got up early. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's just go. They're old enough. Like there's porta potties. So my kid, you know, my oldest is good about going to the potty. So she's like, you know, we had to stop for that for a few times, but overall they had a good time. And like, you know, it was, great for memories and shit, but not so much for reselling. And like it's good. Like last year I found a bunch of shit in like the surrounding areas, so like that was really good. But yeah, like this year I didn't find anything. And then we went to like, you know, a couple neighborhoods. Like I said, you know, the neighborhoods surrounding it usually have some decent stuff. So we went to another sale that was in another little neighborhood sale, and they had a big bounce house blown up when we walked up. So I could tell they just wanted to get rid of it. So I asked how much. They were like $30. I was like, all right. So it had like a couple like tears. He showed me, like, you know, there's not tears even. It was just had come apart at the seam. So like theoretically you could just like sew it up because it's just the stitching came out. But right now it's just got some like Flex Seal tape on it, but it's working fine. So yeah, my kids played on that all weekend. So again, that was like a great weekend for the kids. They got a bunch of cool shit. So then we got, so after that, we went back. I did get like a couple Coach purses and like a couple things. So then we went back home. And then I remembered that there was like a touch truck. So I don't know if you know what a touch truck is. It's like when you go to a thing and they have a bunch of trucks kids can look at. But like I didn't even think about the fact that it would be crazy loud, and like we don't really have like head protective ear covers for the kids. So like yeah, we got to get those because we got there because I didn't even think about it. I mean, I would have showed up without them anyway. Because I didn't even think about the fact that they'd just be like kids like hammering on the horn. So my youngest was just like, she was getting tired and she was kind of like, she doesn't like the loud fucking noise in her fucking face. Like I didn't like it either. I was just like, God damn, this is fucking ridiculous. So like, I picked her up and she was fine. So we got out of like the loud area and it was only like $1 to get in, but then you had to pay for everything else once you got in there. And so, yeah, it was a good time. Like we got to do a couple things, and then my kid wanted face paint. Of course, that had like the longest line, and it was like the hottest part of the day. So we didn't do the face paint. I was just like, you guys have gotten face paint like a bunch of times this summer. You don't need any more face paint. So we went and walked, to the exit, kind of slowly. Of course, my kid's like asking me for this, that, and the other thing. And then she's like, she sees a bounce house there. She's like, can we go in the bounce house? I'm like, I just got you a bounce house this morning. We were playing in it all morning. Like, so we left there and, hold on, I forget what we did after that. So we left there and, yeah, I went back and they basically used the bounce house the whole fucking weekend. Sorry, I just got distracted. I'm trying to remember. I was trying to think. Okay, I'm just trying to see what else I have to talk about. Oh yeah, so I got an email the other day because I'm back in school. So you get like a bunch of emails to your school email and shit. And so it was like an email about joining a fraternity. And it was like, all this stuff about like, joining a fraternity, this, that, and the other. And then it's like, we're gender inclusive. I was like, well, isn't it a fraternity? Like, doesn't that like literally mean brotherhood and sorority, sisterhood? So like, I don't understand how this is gender inclusive. I thought it was very entertaining. I sent a picture to my neighbor. I thought that was funny. I was like, should I join this gender inclusive fraternity? And they've got like girls in Boy Scouts now, which is fucking weird. And it's like, this is like from somebody who has girls, like 2 girls. Like I would never want my girls in Boy Scouts. Like, if maybe it's gotten better since I was in there, but like we were just the worst of the worst. And it's like at a point when you're like the most like horned up. So like, I'm not saying like we were like bad, like, we'd be doing heinous shit to these kids. I'm like, well, but like, I'm talking about like, I was, I can't remember how old I was, but like, I thought it was funny one time we would just do the most ridiculous shit. We would like light the back of, they had like these wood lean-tos at the campsites that some kids stayed in. And we would put like lighter fluid on the back and just light it on fire. Like just be like, just fucking around, like in the middle of a forest. Like, and then like, I remember one time we were fucking around and we like, somebody had a mask. And so we were like taking turns. Well, when I say taking turns, I think it was me. I was doing it because I don't think I got in trouble for it. But I was running around humping people. Like I would grab like, my friends that were in Boy Scouts and I would like dry hump them. We'd all be fully clothed and I would just have this mask and I called myself the masked rapist. And I remember my mom, I had to get like spoken to about my mom, or they talked to my mom and then my mom talked to me. They're like, do you know why this is like, and like at the time, you know what I mean? You're just like, oh, I'm just saying funny shit. You know what I mean? But like, they're like, do you know why? And like, I've gotten in trouble for saying shit before. Like I remember in like 5th grade or 6th grade, I remember our teacher was like, super hot. Well, I don't know if she was super hot, but she was hot for like 5th or 6th grade teacher. And like, we were, again, like just entering our peak horniness as like prepubescent boys. And I remember me and this kid were talking, and like, we dared each other to harass her. Like, we don't even know what the fuck that means. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't even say sexually harass. We were just like, I dare you to harass her. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't even know what it meant. We had just heard the word. You know what I mean? So like, and then another girl heard us say that, and then she told the teacher. So we had to like have an awkward conversation about like sexual harassment in like 5th or 6th grade with this teacher who we were just like talking about. Fuck, I forgot about that. That's crazy. I just like started talking and that memory just fucking formed in my brain. So anyway, yeah, like I would not let my daughters do Boy Scouts just because we were like so insane. Like, and there's a lot of times where you're like not supervised. I mean, at least that's how it was back in the day. You know what I mean? Because it was just like, you know, we'd go to like summer camp for like a week, and like you'd go off on like different weekend trips and shit. And then even like at the meetings, like you'd go to the meetings and like it'd be at like somebody's, you know, some place like VFW or something, and like all the parents would just like sit inside and like talk to each other while like all the kids would run around and play outside. So it was just like a lot of the times we were just like unsupervised, and like that's cool if it's just boys, but then you throw girls in the mix, like get the fuck out of here with that. You're not gonna fucking corrupt my little baby princesses with fire and fucking feces and fucking fire, feces, and like masked rapism. Not my sweet angels. So yeah, gender inclusive fraternity. That's how that I got down that whole little rabbit hole. I apologize. I didn't mean for this like to become like a right wing podcast. Somehow just like me reciting what people have talked to me about and like the emails I've received. I feel like this is I'm gonna get another comment about using the R word, and anyway, let me see. I've got a couple more things because I have a couple more minutes. Oh yeah, so this was like yesterday or 2 days ago. So I got a phone call, but it didn't go through. Like it never rang. So I have a voicemail, and they're like, "Hi, you left your card at my sale like 2 years ago. Call me." Like I have a bunch of toys like from the 1980s and 1990s. I have a gazillion of them, Legos, this, that, the other. Let me know if you're interested in them. I was thinking about having a yard sale, but you know, we could maybe work something out if you want them. So she's like, yeah, give me a call back. She leaves her number. I call back. It rings. I leave a voicemail, and I get nothing. So I'm like, all right, I leave a voicemail with my number. I'm like, hey, sorry, my phone, like, I never got your missed call, but I have a voicemail. So I am definitely interested in, you know, whatever you have that you're getting rid of. Let me know. This is my, you know, my number just in case, whatever. And then hung up and waited and nothing. Never called back. So the next day I'm like, all right, you know, I'll try calling in the morning so that way my wife's off. If like, you know, maybe there's a chance we can meet up. So I call again, leave a voicemail like, hey, I'm not sure. My phone is having some issues. I missed your call, but you know, I got the voicemail. So I'm definitely interested in whatever you have for sale. Let me know. My number's, you know, whatever. And so then I'm like, so then I'm just like, sitting here waiting now. I'm sorry, my brain just broke. Yeah, I'm just sitting here waiting for this person. Like, I feel like it might be like somebody playing a prank on me. Like somebody got my fucking phone number and they're like, what would just make this guy like sit and stew? I was just thinking for a minute. I'm like, did I put my phone number in this podcast just a minute ago? Like, you know, I don't think I did, because I almost just said it just now. And then I just almost like, so I don't know. I need to double check because I have not been paying attention very well. Been a million things. So yeah, I was fucking that's just like a mystery to me. So I'm hoping that they just got busy or something, or I'm gonna try calling again tomorrow because I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You call me about some toys, I'm gonna fucking hunt you down. Like I'm gonna fucking make sure that I'm going out of my way to get a hold of you. So I might have to like backwards check the number or whatever online. Use AI to track the number. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I had to like, oh yeah, I got to give an update. Fuck, man, I completely forgot about this. So the Mosquito Head t-shirt. So, I was trying to figure out what to do with it. So I posted on Facebook. I had a bunch of people reach out. Like, a couple of people were like, hey, how much do you want for the shirt? Blah, 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 blah. And then I had one guy reach out and he's like, hey, everything looks good on your shirt. You should get it authenticated by this app, blah, 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 blah. And mind you, I've already checked with like a couple other vintage clothing people that were like, yeah, your shirt looks legit, this, that, and the other. And this person's like, told me to use this app to basically like get my shirt authenticated. And so I did it and it was like $18. So I'm like, all right, I paid. And then I start like looking online and it's just like some of the reviews are like, yeah, it's not like the most reliable, this, that, and the other. And it's basically like opinion based and like there's, they're saying it's like an expert. So I'm waiting a few days and then I'm like going to look and there's like things that are still pending from like 2 years prior. I'm like, what the fuck? So so then it comes back and they're like, it says fail. So I'm like, all right, well, like I've been told by somebody who like interviewed the dude that they think that it's 100%, with 100% certainty that it's original. Like, so I'm like, so I'm like, so the reason was like, what the fuck was the reason? That it didn't match one that had sold that had like, it said like the color didn't match. It's like the color was different from one that had sold previously. Now I found the one that sold previously and that one is like completely almost destroyed. So like, like completely faded and like, so of course the color is going to be different. That's the only one I could find. So I'm like, if that's what you're going based on, like if you're going based on the sold, because like you can, enter it in with even AI, the picture of the fucking t-shirt, and I don't see anything coming up for sold. So yeah, that was just like, so I'm just like, I don't know, like obviously like with something like this, I have to like get like as many opinions as possible, but I'm trying to go right to the source, the guy who like was the creator of these t-shirts. And he, so I'm gonna have to go to like, vintage t-shirt forums and stuff. It's gonna be like a little bit of a process, but I'm gonna try and track down somebody who can actually, because like he didn't say anything about stitching or the tag or like, you know what I mean? A lot of times it'll be like, this is a very good replica that might have been made, you know what I mean? And the other thing too is like when I was reading about stuff to authenticate it, because I kind of had gone through the steps to authenticate it by like just by research, and it's like, check the stitching, check like the I don't know if it said stitching, but it said check that there's like bleach through the shirt, like on the inside of the shirt, because it should stain through the shirt. And the reprints, the reproductions and the fakes, they don't have that, and mine has like all of the bleach on the inside. So that was one of the big things. So like it didn't say anything about any of that. It was just like a basically like 5-sentence thing that was like the colors slightly off. But anyway, check out the stream tomorrow, whatnot. Sorry, my kid's screaming to me and I've already done an hour, so I got sidetracked again. Check out the stream tomorrow, whatnot, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be doing jackets, hoodies, and crew necks for the fall. We have men's and women's, so a bunch of different sizes. Follow me on follow me on eBay. Well, yeah, eBay, Flips and Giggles. Flips and Giggles is also Facebook. And then Whatnot is Flips and Giggles as well. Perry Flips with a Z on Instagram. And then Potted Picker on X. And yeah, thanks again for tuning in. And I'll be back again next week. Peace.